Are we live? Am I good to start? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So good morning, everyone. So well, obviously I'm attending virtually today. I have a very special day. My daughter's graduating from grade 8, so I couldn't be there in person. But we've done this lots of times before, back in COVID days when I was virtual. So hopefully this will run smoothly. Our chair also sends his regrets today. Therefore, prior to commencing the meeting, we're going to appoint an acting chair. An honoree has offered to fill this position very kindly. So I'll first read the resolution and then we can continue the regular meeting. So moved by John Agate and seconded by Jean Neville. Be it resolved that committee member Honoree Tall is hereby appointed as acting chair to preside over the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on June 22nd, 2026. All those in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. And I'll turn it over to Honoree now.
(9:31). Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome everyone to the hearing today. The meeting is called to order at 9:31 a.m. Today's proceedings are being held as a hybrid meeting by way of in-person attendance and teleconference to hear minor variance application PLMB 2026-025. The Committee of Adjustment is appointed by Council to consider applications for minor variances to the zoning bylaw pursuant to Section 45 of the Planning Act. The Planning Act requires that a public hearing be held. The public hearing serves two purposes. First, to present to the Committee of Adjustment and public the details to the application, and second, to receive comments from the public and agencies before a decision is made. All submissions form part of the public record. Any applicant, agent, or member of the public wishing to address the committee for a specific application is reminded that presentations are limited to 10 minutes per person. All parties will be verbally acknowledged before being asked to proceed. With a conference, if at any time you are having difficulties hearing what is being said, please say so or click the raise hand button or dial *9. We kindly ask that everyone speak slowly and clearly when addressing the committee. If you are of the opinion that holding the hearing as an electronic hearing is likely to cause significant prejudice, we ask that you advise this committee at the earliest opportunity and the matter can be addressed accordingly. At this time, I will ask that anyone who objects to an electronic hearing of a matter on today's agenda or is having difficulty hearing what is being said, please click the raise hand button or dial *9 now. Any comments? Any objections? All right, thank you. The committee will first adopt the agenda. Would the Secretary Treasurer please read the resolution?
Through Madam Chair, moved by Jean Neville and seconded by John Agate, be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves the agenda of the June 2026 meeting as circulated. Everyone in favor?
All those in favor, please raise your hands. Thank you. That is carried. Do any committee members have a pecuniary interest in the application being heard today? None. Thank you. There are minutes to approve from the May 25, 2026 meeting. Does the committee have any comments or questions? None. Would the Secretary Treasurer please read the resolution?
Through Madam Chair, moved by Paul Riddall, seconded by Jean Neville, be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves the meeting minutes of the May 25th, 2026 meeting as circulated.
Members, please raise your hands. Approved. Thank you. It is carried. I now declare this to be a public hearing for application PLMB 2026-025, located in Part Lot 12, Concession 1, Geographic Township of Anson, 1069 Loggers Crossing Lane on Bob Lake. Would the planner please summarize the proposed variance and any correspondence received to date regarding this application?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, committee. The application was submitted by the property owner Conrad Speckert for the property located in Part 12, Concession 1, Geographic Township of Anson, known municipally as 1069 Loggers Crossing Lane, which is located on Bob Lake. The property comprises an area of approximately 0.57 acres, 2,315 square meters, with approximately 38.4 meters or 125.9 feet on Bob Lake. It is currently developed with a 120 square meter, 1,291 square foot, two-story dwelling with an attached open deck, a shed, and a sauna. A small fixed dock is also located on the shoreline. As proposed, the owners wish to construct a new two-story detached accessory building having a ground floor area of 35 square meters. The main floor of the building is proposed to be used as storage, and the upper story is proposed as a sleeping cabin. As per the application, the building will have a height of 6 meters. The building is proposed to far exceed all setback requirements with the exception of one interior side lot line. The relief sought by the application is to section 5.2 to permit a setback of 2.1 meters or 6.9 feet to the southeast side lot line, whereas otherwise a setback of 4.5 meters or 14.8 feet for a two-story accessory building with a sleeping cabin would be required. Also from section 4.9.1 to permit development on an existing undersized lot where additional relief from the zoning bylaw is required. In reviewing the application and further confirmed by a staff visit, increased setbacks to the side yard lot line cannot be met for the proposed accessory building. The property is uniquely constrained due to shifting topography and elevation increases along the side lot lines. The property width also tapers from the front lot line to the rear lot line, providing less width at the back of the property where the building is proposed. And additionally, an overhead utility line also crosses through the property. The application is subject to the 4 tests of a minor variance as outlined in the Planning Act. When assessing whether an application is minor, the consideration must relate to the potential impacts of the variance requested. The existing right-of-way, being the private road used to access the property, crosses the neighboring lot on an angle. As a result, a narrow strip of land between the right-of-way and the property boundary line is effectively unusable for development purposes other than a parking area, which is currently being used as, or similar accessory uses. The reduced side yard setback is not expected to impact or limit any future use of that portion of the property. The proposed location will also far exceed the setback requirements to the shoreline, and impacts to the lake are not anticipated. The application is therefore found to be minor in nature. Accessory buildings such as garages, storage sheds, and sleeping cabins are permitted accessory uses for shoreline residential properties. The proposed use is consistent with the development in the surrounding area, which is also developed for recreational residential uses. Opportunity to increase the side yard setback is challenged by the vertical elevation change along the northwest side of the property. And meeting the zoning bylaw setbacks would require substantial site disturbance, which would include cutting into the slope and additional tree removal. As previously mentioned, the tapered lot shape also provides less width at the rear of the property where the proposed building site is located. And an overhead utility line bisects the property to service the neighboring properties. The proposed location of the building already considers and achieves the setbacks required as per hydroland guidelines, and therefore relocating the building would not be feasible. Where the application is also minor, the application is found to be desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land and building. The subject property is designated waterfront on Schedule A of the township's official plan, and Bob Lake is recognized as an at-capacity lake. Permitted uses in the waterfront designation include recreational-based residential uses in the form of single detached dwellings, Property is located on at Capacity Lakes. Excuse me. It's a mouthful. Retain existing development rights, which include permitted accessory uses. The official plan promotes a 30-meter setback for new development in the waterfront area, and the proposed 2-story accessory building will far exceed that requirement. The proposed building will be significantly set back from the high water mark and therefore no impact to the shoreline area and no impacts to the balance of the built and natural form within the shoreline are expected. The proposed development of the property remains consistent and compatible with the surrounding lands that are developed with similar recreational residential uses. The application is considered to uphold the general direction and purpose of the official plan. The subject property is zoned shoreline residential on Schedule 10 of the zoning bylaw. Both an accessory building for storage and a sleeping cabin are permitted uses on the property. As per the application, the proposed sleeping cabin would meet the provisions of section 4.1.13, permitting the sleeping cabin in the upper level of the accessory building also serves to reduce the amount of site alteration on the property and overall site disturbance. The proposed southeast side yard setback of is reduced to 2.1 meters and does not meet the shoreline residential zone requirements of 4.5 meters. Side yard setback provisions are intended to maintain appropriate separation from neighboring properties and for maintenance and compatibility. Given that the lands immediately adjacent to the proposed building site are already used for parking and considering the existing topography, the reduced side yard setback is not expected to interfere with the use of the lands directly adjacent to the proposed new building. And the proposed building exceeds all other development standards of the zoning bylaw, including the required 3-meter setback to the existing right-of-way. The proposal will result in a total lot coverage of 7.5% and an accessory building lot coverage of 2.5%. The application is considered to uphold the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. The application is also required to be consistent with provincial planning statement, the PPS. Under the policies of the PPS, the subject property is considered part of the rural area and more specifically being rural lands. Permitted uses on rural lands include resource-based recreational uses such as recreational dwellings and associated accessory uses that maintain the rural character and can be sustained by rural service levels. The PPS further supports development that is appropriate for the existing character of the area and promotes the long-term viability and rural communities and efficient use of existing developed properties. The application is consistent with the policies of the PPS. Notice of this application was circulated to neighboring landowners and commenting agencies in accordance with statutory requirements of the Planning Act. I do note that June 11th, original mailings went out. A small minor wording change and an update to an email address was provided. So it was recirculated on June 12th within legislated timelines. The township has received 2 letters from neighboring property owners, both confirming that they have no concern and support the proposed development at the location, and no further comments have been received from members of the public or agencies. In conclusion, the application appears to meet the 4 tests of a minor variance and is consistent with the policies of the PPS. Therefore, it's recommended that application PLMV 2026-025 be approved, subject to the conditions identified in the report. Thank you.
Is the applicant or property owner here today?
Yes.
All right, we're looking electronically. Please bring the applicant into the teleconferencing. Are we connected?
Good morning, everyone.
Please state your name for the record and provide any additional information you would like to present to the committee.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Conrad Speckert, property owner at 1069 Loggers Crossing Lane. Jody did an excellent job running through that, so I don't think I could possibly speak to it any better, and I'm glad that pointed out all the reasons why we need this minor variance, and thank you for your time.
Are there any members of the public who would like to speak to this application? We will start with anyone attending electronically. Is there anyone? No? Thank you. Is there anyone attending in person who wishes to speak to this application? Do not see anyone. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the committee to the applicants, the planner, or any persons who have made presentations? Committee? No. Thank you. Are there any further questions or comments from the committee to the applicants, the planner, or any persons who have made presentations? Comments may also be reasons why the application may or may not be supportable for the purposes of a decision.
Sorry if I can interrupt. I'm not sure if something's being said, but I don't think the microphones are on.
Okay.
If you could just repeat what was said.
I said, I see no problem with it because both neighbors are quite happy with it. It's far enough from the shoreline. It's totally acceptable in my view.
And you've seen the property as well.
Well,
We
yeah,
have,
the pictures
yes.
are there, so.
Appreciate that.
And I think with the right of way there, there's no other place you could put the accessory building.
That's right. Any further comments? No. As there are no further comments, would the Secretary Treasurer please read the proposed conditions for the minor variance?
Through you, Madam Chair. Yes, so I won't read them in detail. They are pretty much the standard conditions. The first being just that the minor variance is specific to this two-story structure. The next being that the construction will be substantially in accordance with the site plan, which forms part of the report and which would subsequently form part of the committee's decision. That an Ontario land surveyor would be required to confirm that the setbacks are being met as provided by the variance. As well, that a building permit must be applied for within 12 months, and failing any part of those conditions, that the application would be otherwise refused.
Thank you. Are there questions or comments from the committee regarding these conditions? None? Thank you. Hearing all the evidence before it, is the committee ready to make a decision? Would the Secretary Treasurer please read the resolution?
I'm just finishing up the reasons, and I'll just, if you can give me half a second.
All those in favor?
Oh, sorry, I just have to read it still. I'm just writing out the reasons that the committee members gave, and then I'll read it before the vote.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So very.
Okay, I am now ready.
Good, thank you.
Moved by Jean Neville, seconded by John Agate, where the Committee of Adjustment considered the written and oral submissions relating to application PLMV 2026-025 Speckert made at the hearing. And whereas it is the opinion of the committee that the relief granted maintains the general intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, is appropriate and desirable for the area, and is minor in nature, and more specifically for the following reasons: that the garage or that the accessory building is far from the shoreline, that the neighbors have no concerns, and that with the location of the right-of-way, there is no other location for the accessory building. Now, therefore, it is the decision of the committee that application PLMV 2026-025 requesting relief from the requirements of bylaw 06-10 as amended to permit the following: from section 5.2 to permit a setback of 2.1 meters or 6.9 feet to the southeast side lot line, whereas otherwise a setback of 4.5 meters or 14.8 feet for the two-story accessory building with a sleeping cabin would be required. From section 4.9.1 to permit development on an existing undersized lot where additional relief from the zoning bylaw is required to be approved. Subject to the following conditions: that approval of the minor variance shall only relate to the proposed new 35 square meter or 377 square foot, two-story accessory building with main floor storage and a second-story sleeping cabin, construction of which shall comply with all other applicable law. That construction shall proceed substantially in accordance with the site plan submitted to the township on May 11th, 2026, and put before the committee on June 22nd, 2026, and forming part of this decision. That an Ontario land surveyor shall confirm the setbacks in accordance with the approved site plan to the satisfaction of the township. That the building permit, which is to remain in good standing, be applied for within 12 months of the approval of this application, following submission to the building department of the appropriate application, fees, and supporting information as required by the chief building official. And that failing any part of the foregoing conditions, this application shall be deemed to be refused. That's all.
Are we all in favor? Can we vote? Thank you. That is carried. Thank you. I now declare this matter to be concluded. Are there any new business to discuss? None?
Nothing for me.
So actually, we should say we've concluded this portion of the meeting at 9:51, but we still would like to know if we have new business to discuss. If not, when is the next meeting?
Through you, Madam Chair, I don't have any new business to discuss. The next meeting is scheduled and will be held on July 27th.
Thank you. Would the Secretary Treasurer please read the resolution to adjourn?
Moved by Paul Radall, seconded by Jean Neville. Be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment meeting be adjourned at 9:52 a.m. on June 22nd, 2026. The committee will reconvene on July 27th, 2026.
Who's in favor? Thank you. That is carried.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Good.